Succeeding today requires planning, and it requires putting objects together and tools and systems to really make it happen. And now you're going to get a chance to learn from an expert on project planning, what it's about, and specifically how it relates to social media. Joining us now from his office right just outside Portland, Oregon, is the incredibly wonderful guy, Todd Williams. Todd, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you for talking to me, Terry. It's great to have you online and be able to chat this bright and early, dark and early morning.
Yeah, dark and early, because we know it's very early your time right now. And here in Orlando, we got the sun shining. We're going to send it your way as it crawls across the sky. But Todd, you've done a lot of things with project planning. You go in and you work with companies and make them initiative ready. You help them, you find out what's going wrong, turn it around, and your book is about that, helping people with it. Tell us just a little bit about the importance of project planning and putting things together and using the right systems for that.
Well, the big key here is plan. I think it was Dwight Eisenhower who said that plans are useless, planning is invaluable. And that is really the key. Putting together, understanding what can go right, what can go wrong with a project, how it all fits together is the most important thing in the world you can do. Even though the minute you start that project, you start to deviate or the plan starts to falter, you've done that planning, so you've anticipated some of the things that can go right and wrong. You've got the right kind of team involved, you have the right people, you start understanding what types of options you can pull together to make things actually work better on that project.
Yeah,
so
you're an expert in that.
It's absolutely critical.
Yeah, you're an expert in that. You're helping many people. I mean, when you think about project management, project planning, and you are the one that companies around the world are calling to come in. What would you say to the person who says, well, we don't want to make a plan because things change so rapidly. We're just going to make it up as we go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
We really can't. So that's one of the things. We really work with people who understand that planning is somewhat needed. They understand that they have a problem. They understand that there's something to be fixed. That's like many things, like addictions. If you try to help somebody who has an addiction and they don't understand they have a problem, you can't help them. And so we really do focus on the people who understand the value of what needs to be done, who want to get better. And we don't bang our head against the wall with people who haven't done that. Once you have that understanding of what can be done, and we talk to people that haven't quite figured that out, but we don't spend a lot of time on it. It doesn't make sense. They need to get to that realization. As soon as they get to that realization, they can rock it. They can just scream right along. And so then we help them put all that stuff together. If they don't want to plan, if they don't want to do that now, they're going to figure it out. It's like your kids. You can tell them, don't put your hand on that burner. But they're going to put the hand on the burner anyway and learn.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too bad. But I think you got a very good point there that, as we've heard before from Napoleon Hill, who said that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. If the student is not ready, don't force the teacher. And so be ready to work with people on those ideas when they're ready to implement them. And I think that ties in also with one of the things you're doing that's very impressive is social media. I know you're getting some really good results, bottom line business results with social media. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with it.
Well, I started right after I wrote my book. I started building the platform and kind of putting things together, and it was a great story. 4 of us were sitting around outside of an office here one day, and we were talking about Twitter and how stupid it was, and there was no reason to use Twitter, and why would anybody in business ever use Twitter, etc. And I was driving back to my office, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, the 5 of us should go out and tell those 200 million people just how stupid they really are. When I did that, I kind of thought about the numbers a little bit, and I thought, well, maybe I better spend some time. So I spent about 2 days doing nothing but reading about Twitter. If it didn't have Twitter in the title or the subject line, man, I wasn't going to read it. My blog was getting very, very few hits. It was a brand new blog. I just brought it up a couple weeks earlier, and I had like 30 reads a week. I said, okay, well, what can it hurt? So I went on Twitter and I found out that there was this hashtag called PMOT, standing for Project Managers on Twitter. And I tweeted 3 tweets. My reads went up to 120 reads. And I went, oh, that's pretty low for a week still. I went a lot higher than that. But now I'm up to about 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah, and most of that's getting driven by Twitter. I also learned a lot more about LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn. So I say that probably 55 to 60% of my traffic, new traffic, well, traffic in general, comes from LinkedIn. Maybe somewhere around 35 to 40% comes from Twitter, and the rest is some sort of organic people wandering, searching, bumping into my blog somehow.
Yeah, I've seen you on presence on Facebook as well, but when you were here just a little while ago and we were talking, you were mentioning you're focusing predominantly on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Well, let's cut to the chase. What really matters in business is bottom line. Can you point to business that you've received and say, yes, my bottom line is better because of your use of social media?
So use of social media has definitely driven a number of pieces of business. It's sometimes in conjunction with other things. So I can mention one large insurance company that I've been working with that literally came from Twitter. It was they had seen me on Twitter. They had talked to somebody else who saw me on Twitter. They asked me to write them an article. I wrote them the gratis article that came back. It was a British company. It came back to the U.S. and a U.S. vice president came to me and said, I want to do some work with you. Can you please come out and talk to me? So I talked to them and worked with them. I have another organization that came to me, relatively large system integrator, and they had read my book and then all of a sudden noticed I was out there on Twitter. They had seen the presentations I had done and from Twitter and saw that, and they came to me and said, hey, can you help us with a webinar? I probably have a dozen of those as we float on around through various areas that people have come back. Right now, we're pushing a couple of high-end presentations I'm doing for two CIO organizations, and they're not strong into social media, and we're actually driving attendance, and people are coming back, and I can take a direct 2-point line from here to here where someone said, hey, I just read this, I just saw this from you, Todd, and I have applied.
That is excellent. See, that shows that it really works in the real world. Well, let me ask you this for our viewers that are watching and they're wondering, okay, we hear what Todd is doing. He's doing a lot of good and getting real business. What would you recommend to someone who says, okay, I need to use it? Maybe they're doing a little bit with Twitter, with LinkedIn right now. Could you give them some specific steps that would help them in their business to improve the bottom line using social media?
Go out and find the people that you want to market to, the people you want to hear, and follow them, retweet what they say, be positive about them. They'll come back and talk to you. Step 2 is to go out and find the people that I call the repeaters. And these are the people who have credibility in Twitter, in the social media world in general, and take their stuff, compliment them, follow them, repeat what they're doing, and they'll start repeating your stuff. And once you start getting those people repeating, you get the people out there that you want to hear you, then things just start to seem to happen organic. And organic growth, as far as I'm concerned, is the only growth. Going out and buying I'll get 10,000 followers this week. To me, those are low quality leads.
Yes.
It's just like a sales operation. It doesn't work.
Yep, absolutely.
It's very poor.
Absolutely, because really when you get down to it, social media is about connecting with people socially, getting to know them. Even on LinkedIn, there's a formula. It's more like the country club where you walk in and you talk to people. You engage in a lot of social talk, but also you do engage in business. And I think you're doing that very effectively right now. And I like it from a project management point of view. You use certain systems that really do work. The, well, we'll make it up as we go kind of approach we know doesn't work, although we do need to remain flexible. And I know you talk about this in your books and in the lectures that you do. Todd, if somebody says, hey, I really like this guy, we could use his expertise, we'd like to get to know more about him, what's the best way for them to get to know you and your company?
Well, our moniker is the original title for the book, which is now Rescue the Problem Project, but it was Back from Red is the working title.
Back from Red. I like that.
Yes. And so you can see me at backfromred.com, redirects to the website. I'm Back from Red on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. That's kind of the thing that's held me, and everybody kind of knows me as that. Sometimes a little too much. They don't know me as Todd. But that's the quickest way to get hold of me is that way. Also, we have, of course, those conventional things called telephones.
And, how about that?
Yeah, that's amazing. So 360-521-9051. I mean, I'm out there. You can pretty much get me ToddCWilliams.com, search that, or Todd C. Williams, and you can search that and find me. I try to make myself as available as possible.
Very good. Well, you see, that's another good marketing tool to make yourself available. You keep it easy, and you're targeting a need. Todd, you're doing so many things right. And for those of you watching, and say, hey, here's a person that is doing it right, doing very well in many areas, not just in business, but as a decent, wonderful human being. You want to get to know Todd C. Williams. Look him up on the net, follow him, find out what he's doing, stay with him, get to know this man. Your life will be better for it. And Todd, I want to appreciate you very much for getting up this morning, early in the morning there. I know it's way early there for you, and we appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you again sometime in the future.
Thank you very much, Jerry, and you have a wonderful